Okay, so we've already looked at how you actually load data into CXAir and how you analyse it through the standard query interface, also how we look at crosstabs. What we're now going to do is actually have a look at another way of visualising the data through Venn diagrams. So going back to what I'd originally loaded, here we're looking at a set of transactions, 157,000, that all relate to food items that have been sold at one or more supermarkets. What I've done is I've saved a Venn diagram, which I'm now going to load up by navigating to the actual report. So if I bring it to the screen. Now what we've actually got here is a number of sets that relate to sales of a particular product on particular days of the week. Now if I just make the screen a little bit bigger, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just scroll the Venn palette so that you can see it a little bit more clearly, and then I'm going to make it increase its size. What we've effectively got is a number of sets. This one here relates to a particular area where you can see the number of transactions that were sold in all branches within that area. Here you can see the number of transactions that occurred over the weekend across all areas, and here you can see the number of transactions, revenue and units sold across weekdays, which in this instance is Monday to Friday. And here we've got the number of transactions in total across all areas for one of their products, which happens to be something called 6 sticky ribs. Now what we can actually do by combining these sets together, we can see how many of these particular products were sold on which days of the week. So here we're highlighting here a value of 380, which is indicating that 380 of the products were sold within the week, which is Monday to Friday in this particular instance. 192 were sold at the weekend. If I now use this particular set here, then the intersections we see here are even more interesting. This number here, 12, indicates that 6 sticky ribs were purchased at the weekend within Carlisle and North West. Now if I actually drill down on the actual number, we can actually go to the underlying data. Now if I want to actually then change this Venn, and it's all happening dynamically as you move things around the screen, if I want to, let's say, look at Birmingham North Midlands instead of Carlisle, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse the heading, just create a little bit of room, make this particular set a little bit bigger so you can have control over how you size things. If I replace that set, we're now looking at the number of transactions in Birmingham North Midlands by day of week. So effectively the weekend sales of sticky ribs, 18. Drill through, there they are. Now quickly to show you how you create a Venn from scratch, I'm going to go into new Venn, and I've got a list of fields that I can include, or values that I can include as sets. So in this instance I'm going to look at area name and pick 2 values. I'm also going to pick day of week. I'm just going to pick one day of the week, and I'm also going to pick a product. So to be consistent, I'll pick the same product as before. I then add the sets to the palette. I can keep adding additional sets, of course, and then I do run. So what we've now got is, let's say, this particular set here is, we've got the number of transactions for East Midlands, of which there were 24,930. So that's all products, East Midlands. Here we've got the number of transactions for sticky ribs. So if I actually overlay the 2, you can see straight away that 70 of those transactions occurred within the East Midlands branches. If I want to look at how many transactions occurred on the second day of the week, I can simply overlay this set here, and there were 9. So there were 9 transactions for sticky ribs in East Midlands. If I double click on the value, I go through to the underlying data. Final example, obviously you can make these Venns as detailed as you like, and you can also save away the intersections and come up with some quite incredibly complex Venns that are really pretty easy to actually create, but do some very sophisticated analysis. If I overlay here, we're now looking at the sales for Carlisle and North West. Venn diagrams. This is a standard facility that you get within CX.